Please subscribe my channel. I never imagined that one simple sentence could completely change how my husband sees me. It wasn't yelling, it wasn't cheating, and it wasn't some big betrayal. It was just one thoughtless remark, spoken out of frustration, that hit him in the most painful spot. My name is Sarah, and I've been married to Michael for 9 years. Until a short time ago, I would have said our marriage was strong. Not perfect, but stable. The kind built on daily habits, shared duties, and a quiet trust that love doesn't have to be loud to be true. Michael has always been a quiet man, thoughtful and dependable. He's not the type who takes over a room, but he's the person everyone turns to when things go wrong. I loved that about him when we first met. He made me feel secure and steady. Over the years, though, that security began to feel too predictable. And predictability slowly turned into something I couldn't quite name. We both work long hours. Evenings turned into fast meals and separate phones or laptops. Our talks became mostly about practical things, bills, plans, shopping lists. I told myself this was normal. This was what growing up looked like. But deep down, I started feeling invisible. Not ignored exactly, just not really noticed. When I shared about my day, Michael would listen, but his attention would drift when I needed comfort. He gave advice instead of a hug. I never doubted he loved me, but I missed feeling truly wanted, both emotionally and physically. I never said this out loud. Instead, I let it build up inside, turning into quiet anger that I pretended wasn't there. The night it happened wasn't a big fight. No raised voices, no slammed doors. We were in the kitchen talking about something small and silly, a shelf he had been meaning to repair. I mentioned how he kept putting it off. He said he would get to it soon. I replied that he always says that. He let out a sigh. That sigh bothered me. It felt like he was brushing off my feelings, as if my annoyance was just a bother. Before I could stop myself, I said it, a harsh, hurtful comment about his manhood. I didn't shout it. It came out almost casually, like it was no big deal. The moment the words left my mouth, I wished I could take them back. Michael froze. He didn't get mad or defend himself. He just went very still. He looked at me, but not in his usual way. There was no confusion or argument coming, just a quiet pulling away, like a door slowly closing in his eyes. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't say anything at all. He simply picked up his keys and walked out of the kitchen without another word. That silence has stayed with me ever since. He still comes home. He still takes care of what needs to be done. But he doesn't really look at me anymore. When I speak, he answers politely and briefly. There's no warmth in his voice, and no anger either. That emptiness scares me more than any fight ever could. If this story already feels heavy to you, please take a moment to like the video so it can reach others who might need to hear it. I tried to apologize the next day. I told him I was upset, that I didn't mean it, and that it came out wrong. He nodded and said he understood. But understanding isn't the same as forgiving, and it certainly isn't the same as feeling close again. The distance between us now feels on purpose, like he's carefully protecting something fragile inside himself, something I broke without realizing how bad it was. At night, he turns away in bed, not in an angry way, just enough to show I'm no longer welcome there. I keep replaying that moment in my mind, wondering why I said what I did. Was it really about that little argument? Or had I been holding on to resentment for years and let it out in the worst possible way? What do you think hurts more in a marriage, anger or silence? Please share your thoughts in the comments. I've started noticing things I never saw before. How careful he is with his words. How he avoids any moment where he might feel judged. I see it clearly now, the deep pride I hurt. Not just ego, but something much more important. I'm terrified because I don't know how to repair it, or even if it can be repaired once it's been said. Every morning I wake up hoping he'll look at me the way he used to, even for a second. Every day he doesn't. The guilt sits heavy in my chest, constant and real. This time, I can't blame stress or distance or a misunderstanding. This time, I know exactly what caused it. If you've ever said something you wish you could take back, type the word regret in the comments so others know they're not alone. I still love my husband. That hasn't changed. But I'm learning that love doesn't make words harmless and apologies don't erase everything. Sometimes the damage is quiet. Sometimes it looks like the person you married standing right in front of you, acting like a stranger. I don't yet know if this silence is temporary or the start of something I can't fix. By the fourth day, the silence stopped feeling like punishment and started feeling like a choice. Michael wasn't sulking or trying to teach me a lesson. He had simply moved a part of himself out of my reach. I could sense it in the way he moved around the house, calm, efficient, and distant, like a polite guest who plans to leave soon but hasn't decided when. That scared me more than any argument we'd ever had. I tried talking again, more gently this time. I told him I missed him and that I felt the gap between us. He listened, nodded, and said he needed time. Time, not space, not forgiveness. Just time. As if what I said didn't just hurt him in that moment, but changed how safe he felt with me. I began to realize my comment hadn't just attacked his pride. It had questioned his worth as a man. That kind of wound doesn't show on the outside. It hardens inside. I looked back at our marriage, searching for signs I had missed. Michael had always been steady, not showy. He showed love by being reliable, by showing up, by handling things without needing praise. Somewhere along the way, I started comparing him to something flashier and more dramatic. When my frustration grew, I used the worst comparison I could think of. I didn't just criticize him. I made him feel invalid. The hardest part was accepting that he didn't owe me a quick recovery. He didn't have to reassure me that everything would be fine. He had the right to protect himself. That truth weighed on me as the days turned into a week. We ate meals in quiet, had short, polite talks, no arguments, no laughter, just a calm that felt like something had already ended. One evening, he finally said more than a short sentence. He told me he wasn't angry anymore. That surprised me. He said anger goes away. But what I said changed how safe he felt opening up to me. He didn't know yet if he could feel that safe again, hearing that hurt in a new way, because it meant the damage wasn't just emotional. It went deeper to the foundation. I asked if he still loved me. He paused before answering, not long, but long enough. He said love doesn't vanish overnight, but trust can break quietly. And our silence was him deciding whether that break could heal or keep growing. If this part of the story touches you, please share it with someone who knows how powerful words can be in a marriage. That night, I lay awake and faced an uncomfortable truth. I had wanted to feel heard, but I hadn't truly listened. I had wanted to feel valued, but I chose to humiliate him instead. Shortcuts in relationships always cost more than they save. I finally understood why Michael wouldn't look at me. Looking at me meant risking being vulnerable again, and I was the last person he trusted with that. Over the next few days, I stopped pushing. I focused on being consistent, respectful, and giving him space without pressure, not as a strategy, but because I finally saw what I had taken for granted. I didn't know if it would be enough. I didn't know if it was already too late. Do you believe some words can permanently change a relationship, or can time and effort fix anything? Join the discussion in the comments. 2 weeks after that night in the kitchen, Michael sat next to me on the couch. Not touching, but closer than before. He didn't reach for me, but he didn't pull away either. He said he appreciated that I had stopped making excuses and started thinking about what I did. He wasn't ready to promise anything, but he wasn't ready to give up yet. That was the first real hope I had felt since it happened. I don't know what our story will look like years from now. I only know this. Love isn't just about what we mean to say. It's about the effect our words have. Sometimes the most dangerous things aren't shouted in anger. They're said calmly, because calm words feel like truth, even when they're unkind. I learned that respect isn't optional in a close relationship. It's the base of everything. If I could undo one thing, it would be thinking my frustration gave me the right to say those words. It didn't. Now I live with that lesson, choosing every day to be more careful, more aware, and kinder. If this story meant something to you, please like the video, share your thoughts on rebuilding trust in the comments, and subscribe for more honest stories about relationships and the power of the words we choose. Sometimes regret isn't loud. Sometimes it looks like the person you love sitting right beside you, quietly deciding if you're still safe to love.